Autorità, gentili ospiti tutti, tra poco avrà inizio la cerimonia. Vi invitiamo cortesemente a prendere posto in platea, occupando i posti ancora disponibili. Vi ricordiamo inoltre di mettere in modalità silenzioso i vostri telefoni cellulari. Grazie.
Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony will be starting shortly. Please take your seats, occupying the seats still available. We also remind you to switch your mobile phones to silent mode. Thank you.
Autorità, gentili ospiti tutti, tra poco avrà inizio la cerimonia. Vi invitiamo cortesemente a prendere posto in platea, occupando i posti ancora disponibili. Vi ricordiamo inoltre di mettere in modalità silenzioso i vostri telefoni cellulari. Grazie.
Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony will be starting shortly. Please take your seats, occupying the seats still available. We also remind you to switch your mobile phones to silent mode. Thank you.
Autorità, gentili ospiti tutti, tra poco avrà inizio la cerimonia. Vi invitiamo cortesemente a prendere posto in platea, occupando i posti ancora disponibili. Vi ricordiamo inoltre di mettere in modalità silenzioso i vostri telefoni cellulari. Grazie.
Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony will be starting shortly. Please take your seats, occupying the seats still available. We also remind you to switch your mobile phones to silent mode. Thank you.
Autorità, gentili ospiti tutti, tra poco avrà inizio la cerimonia. Vi invitiamo cortesemente a prendere posto in platea, occupando i posti ancora disponibili. Vi ricordiamo inoltre di mettere in modalità silenzioso i vostri telefoni cellulari. Grazie.
Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony will be starting shortly. Please take your seats, occupying the seats still available. We also remind you to switch your mobile phones to silent mode. Thank you.
Ci sono condottieri illuminati che accendono i cuori.
There are enlightened captains lighting up the hearts of everyone in virtue of a light that seems to belong to comets. Very special was the light of Giuseppe Bona, who lit up for years the cause of this company and of all its people. A light that does not go off, and that in this very moment is shining in every corner of the world on all the beautiful ships that we have set at sea in the past years together. It has been a privilege. Bon voyage.
Benvenuti, benvenuti a tutti.
Welcome, welcome to everyone. Welcome to the handover ceremony of MSC Seascape and to all her protagonists. Thank you. Welcome to you, very many of you here in the theater. And welcome also to all of you who are following us in live streaming, and I know that there are very many of you out there. Good morning. Well, a ship in a port is in a safe place. Yes, of course. But ships were not made to stay in ports and remain there. These are the words said by John Shedd, American writer. Today, a great ship begins her voyage, going from the hands of those who conceived and built her to the hands of those who will conduct her along the courses of her new life all over the world. MSC Seascape is a record ship, sister ship to MSC Seashore, delivered here a year ago, last July. And I was there. I'm very happy about this. The two ships are daughters of Italians, Fincantieri and MSC, and they are the biggest and technologically advanced ships ever built in our country. Jewels of technology, design, respect for the environment, but mostly the symbol of unique abilities, 100% Italian, all ours. abilities to produce excellence in the world. MSC Seascape, this new national masterpiece, was born here in the biggest production site of Fincantieri, a global site that is strongly rooted in the local territory, and in Friuli Venezia Giulia alone occupies 3,600 people and activates over 21,000 jobs in down the industrial supply chain. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that they are masterpiece ships that sail all over the world, but their value remains strongly linked to our country, and we are very proud of this. And speaking about the local territory, speaking about Monfalcone, I'd like to invite the mayor of Monfalcone, Madame Anna Maria Cisin, to join me here on stage. Good morning and welcome. Thank you, and good morning. Thank you, authorities, Vice Premier, Senator Salvini, President of Federica, Mr. Folgero, Mr. Graziano, Vago family, dear guests, I would like to greet you on behalf of our city. Now, the delivery of every ship built in our shipyard is always for our city, the city of Monfalcone, and for the mayor representing Monfalcone, the emotion of having reached yet another production goal. And this is something that we're very proud of. It's a very important moment for our entire local community. I believe, however, that the moment that we are experiencing, and the presence of a Vice Prime Minister here at this delivery is particularly meaningful. It is expression of a country looking ahead, of a country that wants to be protagonist. A sign, an indication of the will to change the pace, and to relaunch, reliably so, our economy, and with this industrial growth. And this ship is the concrete, tangible symbol of the excellence that the country is able to perform. It is a symbol of Italy looking ahead, looking forward. Let me make a couple of considerations. First of all, I would like to thank the ship owner company, the Ponte family, and the workers who have built this beautiful seascape. MSC to Monfalcone is an essential value, an asset. This great company, a leader in the world in terms of cruises and cruise ships and logistics, for many years have believed in the ability of our shipyard to build beautiful ships such as this one. Ships that have exclusive type of features. We realize that just looking at her. MSC has also turned our port into one of its terminals for its cruises in the Mediterranean Sea. So the ships that are built in this shipyard come back here with thousands of tourists on board, so that they can discover a territory that offers history, environment, nature, culture, and it's an international hub. I will admit that when the first of these ships came, I think it was the orchestra, well, I participated in that berthing, and I was really, really, really very, very anxious and nervous about it, and it was understandable. It was the first time. Today, this challenge has been won. This year, almost 90,000 passengers have visited Monfalcone and its territory. And Monfalcone is proud of being part of this process, of this successful process set forth by this company that is becoming more and more a world leader. And Monfalcone is also proud of the role that this shipyard plays as part of Fincantieri. This is where the ships that actually make this company shine even more are built. Fincantieri, Monfalcone necessarily represents a reference point. And that is why, together, company, municipality, region, and national government, we must strengthen its role so that it can maintain and further develop the shipbuilding industry in Italy. I firmly believe that Fincantieri will be even stronger and as strong as the roots of this shipyard are deeper in this territory, the more jobs will be created in the local territory. This means working on the production model, creating new trades, new jobs, qualifying, training the workers, creating opportunities in terms of jobs and work for the companies. We are ready to collaborate, and we've given evidence of this in the recent meetings held with the management of Fincantieri. We have also set forth courses for training local and companies and people. By enhancing the local territory, Fincantieri can enhance and improve itself, become more competitive on the market by providing the excellence of Italian products. These are the topics that were dealt with also when I held meetings with the late Giuseppe Bono during my previous mandate. The municipality of Monfalcone expresses condolences to the Bono family and to the company for his demise, for the great work that he done in the company to which he devoted all his work and his qualities and merits. And together with everyone else, we really miss him a lot. Together with Mr. Bono, we reached important agreements, and they remain agreements, valuable agreements for the territory. The kindergarten was one of the many. We created very many positive things for the local territory and for the company. Everything that was discussed with and achieved with Mr. Bono now need to be developed in line with all the changes that the city has managed to implement in recent years. And thanks also to the commitment on the part of President Federica, whom I thank. Today, Monfalcone is one of the most active communities in the region. A long time ago, we abandoned being resigned and not wishing to work for the things that are favorable to our growth. There are very many investments that are being implemented in different areas, in different industries, and the port is being fully developed. And that is why it is extremely important to continue collaborating with Fincantieri, to find a way so that the changes, the production changes in this that have been planned for this port can actually materialize. And I realize that there's a lot of complicated work needed to achieve this goal, but we want to continue being an international player in the shipbuilding industry together with this company. If I look back to the long history of this shipbuilding, I must say that it is essential to enhance our assets in the form of local people, of the local companies, because they have always been the distinctive element of this company. And we always summarize it in this sentence, in this phrase, we made it. This means that there is partnership between the shipyard and the territory, and you cannot find it elsewhere and nowhere else in the country. And that is why, once again, I renew the tribute of our city to this beautiful ship that has been created by Fincantieri and MSC, and honoring the work done by all the people who built her. Thank you. Thank you, the Mayor of Monfalcone, Madame Cisint. So this new ship well expresses what we are able of doing. She is a symbol of the shipbuilding industry that works on one of the most complicated products in the world, the cruise ship. A unique ability that is expressed in the professionalism of tens of thousands of people, Fincantieri people working on board and on land, many of whom work here in Monfalcone. And here on this stage, we'll be listening to one of these people, one speaking for all of them. The person in charge of planning for the Monfalcone shipyard is Mr. Davide Martino, to whom I give the floor. Welcome, Davide. Ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, good day to all of you. I'm Davide Di Martino, and I work for Fincantieri here in the Monfalcone shipyard, and I'm planning manager for Monfalcone shipyard. Now, allow me to begin by thanking corporate management for giving me today the opportunity to represent the company here today on the occasion of this handover ceremony, which I believe is one of the most significant milestones in the construction of a ship. So I've proudly and enthusiastically accepted this privilege, which to me is yet another opportunity for personal growth within Fincantieri. Well, when a couple of days ago I was asked to speak at this event, well, I thought about my early years with the company, and I saw myself over 7 years ago as a young, newly graduate engineer when I was tiptoeing into the company, taking my first baby steps in the world of work. I was eager to take on the hardest challenges, the fascinating world of ships, the great renown of a leading multinational company in the shipbuilding industry, the complexity of a vast and integrated operational process. These are the ingredients I have been feeding upon every day to nurture my desire to learn, my instinct to grow and improve. And it soon became clear, however, that what actually drove this entire system was the human contribution coming from the people in the company, the leverage that comes into being when the precious expertise of those who have been with the company for a longer time meets with the uncontrollable enthusiasm of the young novices. And this is a priceless, intangible asset that I have found year after year in every single one of my many Fincantieri offices. And we are seeing it in its tangible form, that of another gorgeous ship, MSC Seascape. Now, over the years, I have worked in many different offices with occupying positions with increasing responsibilities, but always trying to adapt step by step to the ever-changing working environment. But at the same time, I was also always hanging on to the basic values that are naturally part of me and of my way of approaching life. And I found that same approach within Fincantieri. I'm referring to the need to change without changing yourself, the desire to improve without degenerating, with the urge to take on new challenges without ever forgetting your roots. The inevitable hindrances imposed by the various geopolitical, health-related situations of the past few years have in some way and sometimes made this change indispensable. The pandemic, an international scenario grappling with new macroeconomic and social dynamics, well, all of these are things that are create a discontinuation with the past. Nicholas Taleb called them black swans, referring to the unpredictable and anomalous events that have an extreme and vast-scale unexpected impacts on people and organizations. What is important when tackling the so-called black swans is not the impossibility, not being able to plan them, but rather the ability to deal with them when they necessarily cross paths with us. Well, the very strong reaction that Fincantieri has displayed over the past 3 years is a rare expression, in my view, of this impalpable ability, undoubtedly driven by the fact that this company believes in the future. And we have expressed this confidence, this fact that we believe in the future internationally, sharing it with our main clients and commercial partners. Looking to the future with confidence is a sentiment that the company has been able to convey daily to its people and to the entire organization. Milestones such as the one we are celebrating today with the delivery of this ship are opportunities to once more confirm all of this. According to Taleb, again, if you want to get a general idea of the character, morality, and qualities of a friend, well, you need to watch your friend in a difficult situation, not when everything is fine. So my wish to all of you is that you may enjoy this moment of happy celebration of the results that have been achieved by our workers with their many abilities, together with our client MSC and together with all our suppliers. Starting from tomorrow, we'll all set aside the satisfaction coming from this achievement, from these results, and we'll get ready to go back to working to achieve the next goal, and doing so enthusiastically. Someone once said that if you want to achieve something you have never achieved before, you must do something that you've never done before. Well, may this approach guide all of us in our doings, Fincantieri management, our clients, and those who work like me daily for this company. May the desire to grow and to improve lead us to welcome changes positively and enthusiastically, so that we can continue giving birth to beautiful ships such as this one. Fair winds, MSC Seascape. Thank you, Davide. Beautiful words, beautifully said. Changing, but remaining oneself without changing. Well, Fincantieri and MSC are a strong and well-established partnership, also when it comes to research. Another 6 ships, 4 of which fueled by LNG, will be built for the new luxury brand of the MSC Group, Explorer Journeys. The investment of MSC Group in Fincantieri amounts to over 7 billion euro. And so I'm pleased to give the floor to the chairman of Fincantieri, Mr. Claudio Graziano. Good morning and welcome. The floor is yours. Good morning, everyone. I am privileged and also moved and excited to take the floor here on this theater. And let me begin by welcoming the Vice President of the Council of Ministers and Minister of Infrastructure and Transport, Mr. Salvini, President of the Region Friuli-Venezia Giulia, Mr. Federica, Mayor of the Municipality of Monfalcone, Mrs. Giusin, Giuliano Aponte, founder and owner of Mediterranean Ship Company, MSC, Mr. Vago, and of course, Fincantieri CEO, Mr. Folgero, authorities and guests, one and all of you who have accepted to be here with us today. As I was saying, today is a special day. It's a privilege to be here in the delivery of the next flagship of MSC Cruises, MSC Seascape, in the Monfalcone shipyard, Fincantieri. As has already been said, to Fincantieri, but also to MSC, this ceremony is taking place in a very special moment, only a few days after the demise of Mr. Bono. We are here on one of the ships that have represented his whole life. Many words have been said and written since that sad day, and they all remind us of who he was, a very determined person, working hard for the industrial development and growth of our country, especially for Fincantieri, but it was the country, the nation he was mostly dedicated to. In 20 years of his leadership, he managed to relaunch the group, which was in a very critical situation 20 years ago, by turning the group into a reference actor at global level when it comes to shipbuilding and high technology. And so, on behalf of the entire Fincantieri family, our thoughts today go to him. And I think that he would be very proud to see that we're all here working together actively at promoting his idea, the idea to which he dedicated his entire life. Our commitment is to tread along the path he traced to strengthen and consolidate Fincantieri even further in a historic moment that is even more complicated and complex than that of the recent past, more challenging. So we'll need more commitment and more ability to work as a system. Today, we're here together with our MSC partners for the delivery of a ship which houses some of the most recent technologies and solutions in all fields, especially when it comes to reducing environmental impact, but not only. There's been enormous, huge amount of work behind the construction of this ship, because the building activities, let us not forget, began at the outbreak of the COVID pandemic. We still do not have a very clear idea of the geostrategic impact that this pandemic will have. And this pandemic was only one of the many crises that have marked the recent years, down to the conflict and war in Ukraine that affected also Fincantieri interests, energy crisis, inflation, the increase in the cost of raw materials. Let's not forget also the role of a new giant coming on the scene, China. These are all examples that make this current period in history a particularly delicate one that has great possibilities but also great challenges involved. And then there's also the global challenge for technological sovereignty. This is a challenge that will involve us for the next, what can it be, 20, 30 years. And today, perhaps without even realizing that we're doing so, we are contributing positively to this challenge by allowing a ship with such highly technological content on board to sail the seas. And it is important because let us not forget that there are other asymmetric threats that will have a strong impact on the balances in the Mediterranean Sea. And I'm referring to the entire shipbuilding industry in Italy, civil and military. We can see that I'm thinking of all the different situations, such as the ongoing conflicts in sub-Saharan Africa. These elements contribute also to increase important major migration flows. This is a phenomenon that was too often exploited to create pressure from a geopolitical point of view. In such a complex context, it's very difficult to orient oneself with a geopolitical and industrial sense. But a day such as today's tells us that if we bring together the excellences of our country, Italy can continue achieving major results and confirm its role at European and international level. We can and must do so, keeping our heads high with great national pride. And in this sense, I'd like to thank once again the Vice President of the Council and Minister of Infrastructure for being here today with us. Your presence here today certifies that our government and institutions pay attention to the shipbuilding industry. And this is a very strategic industry in this time of history. And this brings me to my conclusions. This is the first time that I'm attending a delivery ceremony as in my role as chairman of Fincantieri. And that is why I'm really personally very excited, because I'm fully aware that this is a symbolically important day for us, because we have to experience it as a symbol of a revival of the entire industry. And that is why I would like to express special thanks also to the entire MSC group in the person of Gianluigi Aponte. We have been collaborating with you successfully since the year 2013. And let's not also forget the great dedication with which, once again, Fincantieri has managed to meet all those production deadlines, allowing us to be here today to celebrate this delivery and looking to the future with renewed confidence. So my last thanks goes to the entire Fincantieri people, to all Fincantieri people, to all the workers who, with a great spirit of sacrifice, best represent the strength and power of our country. Thank you, and have a pleasant day. Thank you. Thank you, Chairman Graziano. And now, I must add that apart from the numbers, Fincantieri and MSC share the same values that come from the word respect. Respect towards those who work in the company, towards the people, towards the environment. A system of values that guides every single choice, respectful for the sea and for those who are an integral part of the sea.
Ed ora la parola all'amministratore delegato e direttore generale.
And now the floor goes to the CEO and General Director of Fincantieri, Mr. Pierroberto Forgero. Thank you. Now, first of all, I would like to greet Vice Premier Senator Salvina, President Federica, Mr. Da Ponte, Mr. Vago, Mayor Chisint, all our guests and authorities, and all those who are following us in live streaming. First and foremost, I bow to the memory of Mr. Bono that Claudio well expressed on my behalf too. I want to touch upon entrepreneurship and people. I worked in the field of engineering for many years, and for many years I said, why is it that in English you say engineering, that comes from the word engine, which means motor, and why instead ingegneria in Italian comes from genius? Well, with the genius, there's much more. Within genius, you find technology, you find innovation, you find the ability to turn excellence into something even greater. Things change when everything goes well. A colleague who spoke about black swans. I deeply believe that we need to be comfortable in an uncomfortable situation. The idea that there will be no more black swans, well, it's not ingenious and it's not even entrepreneurial. I always say excellence in deviance and the strength of companies. One can see it when things go well. Let's learn how to change things when everything is fine. So let's talk about genius. How much genius is there in this product? Well, first of all, let's talk about the beauty of this product. We live in an era where we have so many beautiful things, but Italy has lost the taste of heavy industry, of working in what we do. And this product is made up of steel. And steel, ladies and gentlemen, is a hard substance. It's hard to be able to treat it. You need to invest to modernize the shipyards. Now, those of you who have the possibility of walking all over this shipyard, it has invested in a panel line. It has bravely invested in being able to deal with and treat steel in a modern way. Well, the genius that we have in this ship is Archimedes. It's not only full of steel, but it even floats. And I'll guarantee that you need a lot of genius to be able to get 21 decks to float on water with only a depth of 7 meters. But how much genius? That's right at the beginning. We're only at the beginning. We've taken the steel, we've managed to make it stay afloat, and that's only the beginning. So let us integrate systems on a ship such as this. Well, those systems are extremely complex. A ship can get up to 60 megawatt. If you are into this type of thing, you have an idea of what I'm talking about. And we've done nothing so far, very little, because on the ship we also added such a high number of decks, cabins, public areas, marble, wood. So how much genius is there in all of this? It's not engineering. It's genius, ingenuity. And how much Italy is good at doing this, controlling time and cost, because this very complicated exercise can be achieved with dates, with the clients that have decided a given date with the shipyard. So ingenuity and competence, but not only. Innovation, not only. Also entrepreneurship. So ingenuity and entrepreneurship. I believe that Made in Italy is not only something that has to do with fashion and style, food, and this type of made in Italy. I believe that there is also made in Italy of a genius. That involves greater volumes than what you can imagine. And that is why the ability to integrate all of these systems makes Fincantieri a company that manages to integrate SMEs. We always say that Italy is the second manufacturing country in the world, but 90% of this manufacturing production is done by SMEs. And so if they are not involved, they've become the driving force. If this driving force does not involve the SMEs, we'll lose this ranking, this position. So we need to invest on what we know how to do, what to do, and how to do things. But we also have to be able to invest when in the right time. And in this company, we have the ingenuity, we have the SMEs, we have the territory, and all of these ingredients are integrated in a very entrepreneurial way. It's an Italian system that is strong. It is powerful. We need to defend it because those who are familiar with this industry know that the shipyarding industry is it risks being marginalized. But Italy is not making that many ships anymore. Now it is operating well in this highly complex niche, and it is adding all the complexity that I just mentioned, having to do with the genius. But Italy must also decide, and this, by the way, it gives me real pleasure to see that the Vice Premier is here. Italy needs to decide whether it wants to be reindustrialized. If we want to do this, we have a vocation, and I'm telling the ministry, we, Fincantieri, we are there, we are in the industry, we are in the heavy industry, we're part of it. And the third word I wanted to mention was people. Why? Because genius is important. Entrepreneurship is ability to create a system with the genius. But people, when we talk about people, we're talking about ambition. We need to be humble, modest. We do not need. Must not be arrogant. We must be able to promote this idea continuously. In our work log, we have very many ships still to be built. This means 290,000 low bids, which means that 1/3 of the world fleet is built by Fincantieri, which means that 1 out of every 3 cruise goers sleeps, eats, walks in a Fincantieri ship. How much ambition is there in all of this, and how much ambition do we need to look for in the future? Now, mind you, for those of you who have been able to were able to see the ship 3 weeks or months ago, you wouldn't have believed that today would be delivering it. Together with Mr. Materazzo, I always call it the active principle of Fincantieri. It's like a sort of protein that can be synthesized and that allows Fincantieri to just do the last rush and to proudly meet the deadline. I can see that the people sitting in the front row are nodding. So how much ambition do we have in all this? It is genius, it is entrepreneurship, but it is also ambition. And the other active principle of Fincantieri is a pride of showing its people what the Fincantieri people can do, showing their wives, their children, their husbands. The other day I was talking with a gentleman from MSC, and he said, well, I realized that the Fincantieri will be able to meet the deadline when they ask me to show the ship to the family members. So how much of all of this is in the history of Fincantieri? So to what extent do we share all of this with MSC? So much. Now, to conclude, genius, ambition, people, and innovation. Together with MSC, we started on a voyage in 2013 that has led to 4 areas of collaboration. And I'm pleased that present here today, we try to involve the country as much as possible in this partnership. Because if this is a good and nice story, we need a lot of involvement with also the national government. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Folgero. MSC Seascape, as we heard, is the fourth ship that Fincantieri is delivering to MSC Cruises, a relationship that, as you heard, is clearly based on mutual trust. And the biggest private company, private capital cruise ship building company, leader in third in the world, leader in Europe, South Africa, the Gulf region, and South Africa, places this trust in Italian professionalism and know-how for the first shipyard in the world for diversification and innovation. MSC Cruises, at global level, employs over 25,000 people, has invested about €1 billion in the construction of MSC Seascape, with an economic positive effect on the Italian territory amounting to over €4 billion. MSC, a family company. And for the past 300 years, this family company has been mapping out routes on the seas of all the world.
I was a sea captain, and my dream has always been to become a ship owner. So I decided to start my own business by buying a first little small ship. We would carry all kind of cargo. Whatever cargo was available and well paying, we would take that cargo. In the 80s, the world started to progress very quickly. And as a result of that, the volume of cargo started to grow dramatically. Same story happened into the cruise division. Cruises started with the purchase of the Aquila Largo.
You need to do the right thing in the right moment. And we happen to enter in this field at the right time and to have the right vision to reach in a very brief time with a double-digit growth year on year.
We are starting to have the right dimension to be in this business and to offer our client a real good product.
Shipping never stops. You gotta have passion. You gotta have a drive.
What is important is to make no mistakes.
We never stop growing, we always innovate.
Every day we make investments.
Every day people can see that we are part of the company.
We have a very strong core values.
We have passion in whatever we do.
Passion is teamwork. Passion is also energy, is enthusiasm, and is professionality.
The cruises is the perfect example of what MSC and the MSC spirit and the MSC people can achieve.
Human power.
Yes, it's the human power.
This is what MSC has been all about, organic growth within, with its own people.
The people in our company are in the heart of the company.
So each one of us contributes for the result of the company.
The Apontes have been in shipping for the past 300 years. The beauty of our company is that it is a very diversified group. The goal of this company is to be sustainable in the future and to exist in the many generations to come.
And when you see all the family working, you want to follow them and work with them.
It's a company that is full of people that they love working for this company.
When I remember the way it was and look at the way it is today, there can't be anything bigger than that.
So it's why I'm here after almost 30 years.
We are a family company with a family spirit.
Per introdurre questa persona vorrei usare...
Now, in order to introduce the next speaker, I would like to use these words. passion, energy, professionalism, enthusiasm. And I'd like to invite the Executive Chairman of MSC Cruises to join me here on stage, Mr. Pier Francesco Vago. Welcome. Good morning. Vice President of the Council of Ministers, President Federica, honorable parliamentarians, Mr. Prefect, Madame Cisint, Admiral Carlone, President Di Blaso, Captain Del Prete, Commander Siracusa, Ms. Chairman Graziano, Mr. Folgero, civil, military and religious authorities, ladies and gentlemen, good day. I really would like to thank all of you wholeheartedly on behalf of the entire MSC Group for being here today with us. Today is a very important and symbolic day in two ways. In fact, we are celebrating the delivery of our new flagship MSC Seascape, and we're celebrating on slightly over 1 year from the delivery of her sister MSC Seascape. These two ships, together with the other two ships for Explorer Journeys, our luxury brand, are on one hand the concrete and tangible symbol of our great commitment for Italy in Italy. On the other hand, they also represent the jewels in the crown of a made in Italy, the most advanced one from an industrial, technological, and naval design point of view. And last but not least, also from an environmental point of view. These ships are destined to testify to the Italian excellence in the world. MSC Seashore is already operational, successfully so in the Caribbean, and MSC Seascape will immediately sail to New York, departing at 4 o'clock this afternoon, and stopping over on Civitavecchia on the 7th of December. She will be questioned under the eyes of the entire United States and the world. She will have her home port in North America, the most important cruising market at international level. The construction of our MSC Seascape required 12 million man-hours, employing about 4,300 people. I would like to express to every single one of these people, as well as to the entire MSC team and our supervisor, designing and construction, my most heartfelt personal thanks. You did an excellent job. 3 weeks ago, that was unthinkable, but the families came to see the ship. I also would like to thank a new CEO of Fincantieri, Mr. Pierroberto Folgero, the new chairman, General Claudio Graziano. Together with both of you, right from the beginning, we managed to establish a very good type of collaboration. And we appreciate the way in which in very few months' time you managed to take the reins of a group such as Fincantieri, such a complicated, articulated and highly strategic group for Italy, its international interest and its global reputation. But as everyone before me did, I also would like to pay tribute to Mr. Giuseppe Bono, honoring his charismatic figure of civil servant, a far-sighted and enlightened captain of this industry. His sudden demise was extremely overwhelming for me personally, for my family, for the great entire MSC Group family. And I'm renewing the sense of profound gratitude. We are close to his family, his wife Antonietta, his children Emanuela and Nicola, to whom we renew our condolences. But we're also close to Fincantieri. I'm positive that now dear Peppino considered Fincantieri as his second family, participating in your immense sorrow. Thank you. Together with Mr. Bono, in many years of fruitful partnership, we have materialized some very important projects, built extraordinary cruise ships that the whole world envies us and Italy. The ship we're celebrating here today is one of the many beautiful and marvelous creatures. I'm pleased to announce that today afternoon we will be hanging a plaque in his memory on MSC Seascape. But the entire country is indebted to Mr. Bono for the crucial role in tens of years of honorable and passionate service he has played, guiding the grand and fundamental and important public companies such as Finmeccanica and Fincantieri. He guided them and led them competently, relaunching them from an industrial point of view to become leaders at international level to the benefit of Italy, its economy, and the tens of thousands of employees and their families. Peppino, the entire country will miss you a lot. The construction of MSC Seascape requested an investment of over €1 billion on the part of our group, an investment which on its own generated an positive effect of an Italian economy of almost €5 billion. And this without taking into consideration the important driving force in terms of economy and jobs that will be activated by the ship during her life. She will be able to generate very significant benefits in Italy and abroad, benefits of economic and image type. MSC Seascape, let me stress this, will join one of the most young and advanced fleets in the world, especially in technological and sustainability terms. Like all our other ships, this one too has on board the best solutions available on the market and sets new ecological standards at world level, among which an innovative system for emission control and a very advanced system for wastewater treatment. Compared to a traditional ship, MSC Seascape reduces by 98% the emissions of oxide of sulfur and by 90% the emissions of nitrogen oxide. So these are major results, concrete, tangible results. Technological studies that are telling us to invest beforehand on ships that will be built 5 years to go. These are technological studies that we will also give to the civil society in our neighborhoods. So the importance of Fincantieri, the importance of this industry, which Mrs. CEO is extremely strong one, powerful one. There's a lot of electronics, there's a lot of new economy in this ship, and this also is a driver for the Italian economy. Today's ceremony and event testifies also to MSC Group's commitment towards Italy and its production industry. It testifies to our confidence in the fact that the country will be relaunched. It's a country that has the most ancient seafaring tradition in the world. Our investment plan with Fincantieri so far has envisaged the construction of 10 ships, 4 of which have already been delivered. Overall investment amounts to about €7 billion, that's correct, and it will generate an economic effect on Italy, for Italy, of amounting to about €30 billion. So money spent that is reinvested in the industry, in the companies that collaborate in building such complex ships as Seascape. So our group, including cruises, cargoes, ferries, terminals, and other activities, employs in Italy about 15,000 people directly, generating an occupational impact of a further 40,000 people in positive sense. We have never stopped believing in the future of the cruise industry, nor have we stopped investing in this beautiful country, despite the very severe and hard challenges of the past 2 years. In the presence of Vice President Salvini, I would like to also point out that the shipping sector and the logistic and transport sector needs major investments because they're based on multi-annual expenditure plans. And therefore, we need political stability, and we need a strong, powerful, reliable, and influential presence in Europe. And therefore, Italy, such as like France and Germany, must play in Europe the role of a protagonist. We must become protagonists in Europe because the majority of the issues having to do with the shipping industry are discussed and decided at community level. But in Europe, however, many times the goals that are set are ambitious and sometimes they're even abstract. However, At the same time, there's no proper investment in research and in technologies that are necessary to achieve these objectives and goals. It's a phenomenon that we are finding over and over again, as in the case of the Fit for 55 package. They're talking about it, but they don't tell us how we're going to achieve the results. They tell entrepreneurs and business people to find solutions, but they do not organize technical tables where we can sit and discuss on how to achieve these goals. And so the challenges are enormous and hard. Let me give you another example. Last year in July, on the occasion of the delivery of MSC Seashore, we took on a great challenge. We announced a partnership with Fincantieri for the construction of the very first cruise ship that was fueled with hydrogen. So we're talking about a zero-emission knife. This was our target, and this is reality. It's not someone sitting in Brussels saying we're going to do so and so. No, it was based on concrete, tangible facts. If it is materialized, it would be an important record also for Italy, because we can demonstrate that we can find good solutions. But we know that we have an ongoing difficulty in finding the right infrastructure, instruments, tools, and technologies that are needed to support such an ambitious and revolutionary initiative such as this one. In fact, if you want to be successful, it is not sufficient to have the commitment on the part of the private sector. We also need an organic and organized vision that can be guaranteed only by the country as a system, without obviously forgetting the essential contribute that Europe can and must give us. As MSC Cruises, we are seriously committed. We do so as a family. We feel it as a family, as a company. We are seriously committed to achieving the net zero emissions target and deadline by 2050. But in order to do so, however, we need now to identify new possible solutions. An important role is played by the low carbon fuels. We can produce them in a sustainable way. But in this respect, what is lacking are the necessary infrastructure. We urge the big groups to produce new synthetic fuels. I'm not going to make names here, but it is difficult. It is difficult in how to get to these solutions. And that is why it is necessary for ship owners like ourselves, shipyards, producers of fuels, and infrastructural operators must work together in close partnership. We need to organize these technical tables together with authorities and institutions. Let me repeat this, also at national but also European level. We acknowledge that the national recovery plan, though it has neglected the cruising sector, allow me to say so, we're in a family setting here, has allocated major resources to the shipping industry. However, we need to be more effective in designing these works. We need to be more timely in the implementation. And when it comes to infrastructure, much more needs to be done. We need to coordinate technical tables. We need to invest. So the efforts made by the ship owners by launching and increasingly ecological ships risk being vain if when they get to the ports, they do not find electrified docks and the possibility to refuel with LNG and hydrogen. So if we're lacking of smart management of energetic transition, we risk putting in a critical situation entire sectors. So, Mr. Vice President, we hope that your work will be crucial for the growth of Italy, supported by the work done by Vice Minister Rixi, whom we have been able to appreciate in the past for his competences and for his commitment. And I hope that all of this will support our efforts. There are very many issues that are still open, from the evolution of the international classification to the effort to increase training for crews and experts of digitalization and cybersecurity. There's a lot of work that still needs to be done. We as a group, we need to employ thousands of people when it comes to the technological sector, but we simply cannot find these people. We cannot difficulty in recruiting them. This is another challenge. Allow me also to draw your attention on the European Directive on Planning of Maritime Space. And the approach that so far has been adopted, there are other ministries such as culture and environment that have tried to erode and roles and powers that lie with the Ministry of Infrastructure. So this needs to be put right again, all over again. There has to be an overall approach to this issue, and hopefully we'll be able to put all of this right quickly and to bring the whole issue back on the right path. We want to continue investing in Italy. The goal, MSC Group goal, is to develop a transport and logistics system which in Italy is divided up into fragmented, and therefore, and for this reason, it has prevented our country from competing with other more organized international situations. I would like to stress also that the vertical integration of transport mode is not something that we ship owners have invented. It is an attempt to meet the demands of greater efficiency and efficacy, effectiveness and organization that we see coming from the market. Also, as a consequence of the growing development of e-commerce, we've seen how difficult it is also to have, in terms of the operational, the operation of the supply chain. I think that also in this context, the role of the government is fundamental from many points of view. I think that we need to work together so that we can with a view of mutual help, mutual support. We can develop positive collaborations and partnerships between global operators and local operators. I'm thinking, for example, of the bureaucratic streamlining the bureaucracy in order to have a competitive port system. I'm also thinking of giving the SACE back its original role of supporting and accompanying towards export. We have to avoid the risk of having this organization become too financialized. MSC Cruises has also set up a very solid partnership with Fincantieri. And thanks also to the fundamental role played by SACE, we need for this virtuous model to be consolidated. As of today, however, we must take into consideration the policies that have been set in place by other European countries to attract investment. Sometimes, and very often, they're much more favorable. Speaking about virtuous models, let me remind you, because we have the honor of having the president of the Friuli-Venezia Giulia region, let me remind you that the Friuli-Venezia Giulia region, together with the cities of Trieste and Monfalcone, have always welcomed us as best as possible. And together we have grown and evolved a lot. And for this, I would like to thank President Federica for this, for Madame Cisind and President D'Agostino, who is not be here with us today. But thank you also, especially for all the support that you have given us in the past years. In the past years, together, by collaborating with the companies, Monfalcone, in the person of Monfalcone, has developed and grown also as a cruise port. And I think that you will agree when I say that there is room for further growth. The Trieste-Monfalcone cruise system is becoming more and more important for the entire Adriatic area. It is not an alternative to, but it is complementary to Venice. There's a lot of potential of growth for everyone. Venezia and Trieste will have to reason increasingly in a synergetic way. We need, however, to accelerate on some infrastructure, starting from the Trieste-Venice high-speed railway. As far as the Serenissima is concerned, Mr. Vice President of the Council, I need to mention the very grave situation that came into being last year in July, when the Giudecca Canal was suddenly closed to the transit of cruise ships. Very few days after that announcement was made, celebrating here in Foncaltone the delivery of MSC Seashore, I expressed my hope that there would have been an alternative set in place. The alternative was to be able to berth in Marghera. and in the spring, and that this be possible in the spring of the year 2022. But unfortunately, this happened only partially. And despite the commitment made by the president of the Port System Authority, and Commissioner Fulvio Lino Di Blasio, whom I thank for the incredible work done in this sense, the government, despite all of this, so far has not maintained its promises, its commitment, by finding a final solution to the transit of cruise ships in Venice. By closing the Giudecca Canal to the ships, the cruise ships, which is something we had hoped for in the past, it's happened so suddenly, so rapidly, that it created enormous damage and great losses, not only to our sector, but the entire tourism sector and industry in general. Right from the beginning, we asked for an alternative solution, but so far, we are very far from a tangible and concrete solution. So I take this opportunity to invite the Ministry of representative of the Ministry for Infrastructure to reactivate as soon as possible a technical ministerial table so that we can exchange ideas and come to a solution on this issue and many other issues that are still open. I come to my conclusions. My thoughts go to the Vice President and all the presidents, and going to the 1,000 people working on the Wärtsilä, who worked in the Wärtsilä establishment of Trieste, a few kilometers away from here. Personally, I was involved in trying to stop the closing down of this industry. And this area is one of the most important and prestigious ones when it comes to shipbuilding. And for Italy, it would be an enormous loss if we had to renounce such an important component for this industry. I would like to thank Mr. Folgero for delivering such a gorgeous ship. Please extend, Mr. Folgero, our thanks to Fincantieri management, to Fincantieri workers, and to the representatives of their unions. Thank you very much for building a beautiful ship. Thank you, Gigi. I would like to thank also local and national authorities for the support they have given and continue giving to our industry. In particular, the port authorities and harbor authorities, especially Trieste and Forcone, for the precious, incredible work they've done to support the cruise world and the shipping industry in general. And I also would like to special thanks to the MSC family in the person of Emilio La Scala, Mimo Lubrano, and all those who were involved directly and indirectly in the construction of this ship. My last thanks goes to the captain, Captain Leotta. I know that you will take good care of MSC Seascape, of her crew, her passengers. Please thank the entire crew on behalf of Mr. Ponte and the entire Ponte family, my personal thanks. Thank you, one and all. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Vargo. We're here in the heart of this beautiful ship. We're all a little bit curious to get some numbers, learn more information about the size of this ship. Total length, 339 meters. Total width, 41 meters. Total height, 76 meters. And 7,200 people on board, crews and passengers. MSC Seascape is characterized by an innovative design, making her identifying her as a new generation smart ship. She brings together the 100% Italian design, conceived to bring the passengers closer to the water and to the sea. Let's see how she came into being.
bella, che emozione questi video.
Very emotional video. I would like to welcome, on behalf of Fincantieri and MSC Crociere, the President of the Friuli Venezia Giulia Regional Government, Mr. Massimiliano Fedriga. Thank you. I would like to begin by paying tribute to Mr. Bono. I became president of the regional government and delivered so many ships together with him, and I thank him for how tens of years ago he managed to turn this company into the international leader of the shipbuilding industry. Thank you, Mr. Bono, and thank you to all the families such as yours, MSC, that have supported him. I would like to thank the Vice President of the Council of Ministers, Mr. Salvini, for honoring us with his presence here, testifying to the fact that the Monfalcone shipyard is strategic to the national and regional production system. I also would like to thank the CEO of Fincantieri and all his representatives and all his management that have always shown when in this exchanging and collaborating with our local government, regional government, they have demonstrated they are a very responsible company. And I think that this is part of that growth process that all great companies must have in their DNA. I thank MSC, of course, in the person of Mr. Aponte, in the person of Mr. Vago. And perhaps I'll come back to this later on, because they believe definitely in the development of logistics for sea transportation, cruising, but they also believe in our territory and in the region as a whole. I also thank Madame Cisint, Mayor of Monfalcone, who've always collaborated very fruitfully, and all of the results achieved are made possible by your personal commitment and your ability to find correct answers to all issues. I would have so many people to thank, but I'll try not to take up your time for this. With this. Now, Friuli Venezia Giulia region over the past years have tried to invest a lot in the local logistics system. The ports of Trieste and Monfalcone, apart from also the regional port of San Giorgio, San Giorgio Nogaro, the interport system with the railway connections, make our region a European logistic hub that is important, especially for the central and southern part of Europe. We are not competing with other Italian ports. We have a system that looks mostly towards international commerce and trade, 90%, unlike, for example, the other port in Genoa, which is 90% dealing with national type of business. We are a region that wants to collaborate with other European areas, in particular Austria, with which we are reaching important agreements with Hungary and all the central and southern part of Italy, so that we can become a great opportunity not only for Italy but for the entire Europe. The new international geopolitical context will continuously strengthen even more the northeastern part of Italy, so that it can become a gateway for the development of all those countries which cannot find the usual communication routes or use the usual communication routes of the past. In fact, an agreement has been reached between the operators of the port of Trieste and Latvia, because the traditional communication and transportation routes have become risky. We must take into consideration a new geopolitical international situation to develop new economic model for industrial growth of the west of Europe and of Italy. And we need to look to this fully aware that the world has changed. And fully knowing that this change will not take place rapidly. And Trieste, Friuli Venezia Giulia, Monfalcone can play a strategic role in this sense. On the other hand, much has been said about the importance of shipbuilding. Shipbuilding doesn't merely mean in inverted commas, because it is very complicated, but doesn't merely mean building a ship. It means innovation. Friuli Venezia Giulia is the first strongly innovative region in Europe, concerning a complex process as is the construction of a ship. It has to do with relation with the local territory, developing small companies that can collaborate with world-leading companies. This is fundamental. This is essential because we can help Fincantieri to find the latest innovation. We can find the small companies to grow and play an important role, such as Fincantieri's. And that is why we need to set up a great alliance between institutions and the local territory. And we need to make a step forward. Friuli Venezia Giulia has been able to overcome also the crisis, the economic crisis generated by the pandemic with major performances. We have grown in all senses. We have high numbers of employment, and we have the lowest gender gap in the second semester 2022, not thanks to a region that is particularly far-sighted. I hope that the regional administration did everything that was possible to set in place the best policies, also with the contributions and of interventions for modernization of the infrastructure and plans. But thanks to the fact that everybody rowed in the same direction, pushed in the same direction at all levels, at the time of need, everybody rolled up their sleeves and set to work to achieve the results. And the results were achieved. It's not only a good demonstration of good intentions. These are results of the fact that we are monitoring the numbers. And I hope that this is a great and major challenge. And this is why I thank Minister Fabrini for being here. This is a challenge that we must shoulder together with the national government. Somebody mentioned the historical links of Friuli Venezia Giulia. When it comes to the mobility of people, the connection between the railway connection between Trieste and Venice, it was something that was being discussed even before I became the governor. Today we are working on speeding up this section, but we're still lacking the necessary resources. So in the budget law for 2022, we included resources in the region for the Trieste Airport and Linate Airport, and Trieste Amsterdam Airport was included. We included it in December 21. As of today, the procedures to have this territorial continuity have not been signed yet. And I believe that as a country, as a nation, we need to speed up the ability to and capability to give rapid answers. And I must say that bureaucracy at national level, we have a very high level of bureaucracy, mind you, but let me say clearly that it is the policies that the political part that gives the solutions. So it's at political level that we need to find a way to achieve these goals. The political sector must not say what you can and cannot do. You have a popular mandate giving the direction, and there are people there that need to find the right technical solutions to be able to achieve these results. And this is essential. Essential also the timing and the amount of time spent to find these solutions if we want for the country to continue being competitive. I must say that Minister Salvini, in his previous position with another ministry, that he is capable also of bringing home some unhoped-for results. Now he has taken on a new challenge, that of infrastructure. This is an essential topic and ministry for the country. I'm sure that he will be successful, and I can assure you that from a local point of view, regional point of view, you will find our total support, because here in Friuli Venezia Giulia we can always achieve results that are important for the growth of the entire country in the future. Thank you, Fincantieri. Thank you, MSC. Thank you, authorities, for being here today. Thank you, President Federica. Well, at this point, on behalf of Fincantieri MSC, we would like to welcome Matteo Salvini, Vice President of the Council of Ministers and Minister for Infrastructure and Sustainable Mobility. Welcome. Thank you, one and all. I'm very, very pleased to be here today. And a bit complicated, politically speaking, day, because in the news on TV tonight, I hope mention will be made of this small, great miracle, because in Parliament now we are discussing a lot of things, important things, but I'm pleased to be here today. I'm pleased for choosing this ministry, because there's a very good minister for internal affairs. Italy is in good hands. But let me go back to something that I heard being said some a few minutes ago, and it would be possible to innovate the Italy of the future. Speaking about bureaucracy, I wish there were many very good engineers at the MIT as Di Martino, and we'll talk about this and negotiate on this later. Well, all jokes aside, and seriously speaking, one of my commitments is to motivate a bureaucratic machine that has excellencies, but which every now and then is not valued, enhanced. The MIT, our ministry, has competitions for technicians, but we can cover only half of our demand. So we need to think about this again, rethink it. Things can be changed, must be changed when everything is fine. This is a lesson, a mistake with myself. And there are no impossible challenges. I do not tolerate the answer, we cannot. If we cannot, there must be good reason for not being able to. I had prepared a speech which I did not bring with me here at the podium, because I left it on the seat, because I want to talk, hinging on to what was being said by other speakers. I want to also to commemorate Mr. Bono and pay tribute to a person who did a lot for Italy. I remember him, a very hard-headed person, and I think with all his determination, and he would be proud to know what is happening now and what will happen, about what is happening now and what will happen in the future. I'm pleased to be minister for this ministry. Yes, I am, because on the 5th of December there will be a meeting held in Brussels with the other ministers for transportation and infrastructure. With the previous minister, I too believe that we must not innovate only on the paper. We must find a way so that institutions and companies are partner. Some of the Fit for 55 things are not materializable. They are not only excessively ambitious. They cannot be materialized. They risk being destructive for very many industries. So even if you have a lot, if you wish to innovate and to safeguard the environment for the children and for the future, some deadlines must be rethought, because some of them will really bring down some production sectors. And I'm thinking, for example, of the automotive. If the idea is to do without the internal combustion engines in the automotive by 1915, well, this will be very dangerous. So we need to be ambitious, yes, but we keep our feet on the ground, need to keep our feet on the ground all the time. As a minister, I do not want to repeat all the thanks that have been said earlier, but I really would like to thank the 11,000 men and women of the Coast Guard. They are one of the reason for pride of our country, because the sea brings together. The Mediterranean Sea must not be a sea of the problems of traffic. It must be a sea that unites. This is my commitment for the future. And the example of today is one of the best expressions of this, with Italy as a great industrial power. Yes, food, agriculture, textile, fashion, publishing, furniture, industry. And as a minister, I will do my best so that Italy does not lose steel. The second manufacturing power in Europe cannot lose control over the production of steel. Something is not working properly at the extreme southern part of the country, and we need to put it right. Italy cannot say no to forms of energy production so that we can become more and more self-sufficient. So the hydrogen challenge is okay, but Italy cannot be the only great country in the world because of prejudices does not want to invest in the new generation, clean, safe nuclear energy. We need all forms of energy supply without prejudice. We cannot afford this. So we need better engineering. I've just inaugurated a new section of the Ring Road in Milan. Tomorrow I will be inaugurating the new bridge in Aricia. And Saturday I will be back here in the northeastern part of Italy to visit some of the Del Mose shipyards. The Mose is safe and secure, thanks also to engineering done in Italy. So passion, ambition, innovation. Well, in this ministry, I found on my desk, I've been there for less than a month, 3 weeks, there are over 100 public works commissioned in Italy. They've told me that in 3 years from zero, this jewel has come into being. Among the different dossiers to move away from the Mediterranean Sea, I found a dam in Sicily, works dating back to 1983. I was 10 years old. I was just finishing elementary school. Today, speaking about achieving results, we still have to, what is lacking from that infrastructure still missing is 5%. We need to unblock work sites, one open site, one ship built, one bridge under construction, one rapid railway, high-speed railway means work, job. And this will be our priority for the future. Job, work, the culture of work. In the next economic plan, we will revise the tool and instrument that was thought and conceived to create work. And I'm referring to the citizenship income, which must be a tool and become an instrument to create work, not to stop working. I'm thinking of the people who came up with this brilliant idea. I remember when I was visiting Genoa in the past, and I could see pride in the eyes of the people who were building these ships. And I think that the same miracle is happening here with MSC Cruises in Monfalcone. So unblocking means working so that we can accelerate transportation routes. I'm thinking of tunnels, I'm thinking of bridges, and so on. And there's another public work that began in 1969. I heard a whole lot of series of, we cannot do this, we cannot do this, we cannot do this. And I think that it could become the symbol of Italian genius in the world. And in this new budgetary law, we will set up a company that will finally build a bridge over the canal between Sicily and Italy, the Messina Bridge. It will become a model of determination and innovation. It will be the greenest and most technologically advanced public work in the world. If we need help, I will turn to you, Fincantieri, for help, because you are masters in this. Thank you, Fincantieri, and thank you, MSC, for investing in Italy, for believing in Italy. I'm following what is happening in the shipyards of Gioia Tauro, Civitavecchia, not only Monfalcone and Trieste. Thank you for the new orders. Thank you for the ones that are underway and the ones of the future. Thanks also to the local communities. I'm turning to Federica and Madame Chizin, because there is a heavy load on the local communities. There are balances that need to be guaranteed. I'm sure that the good collaboration between municipality, regional government, and Fincantieri will improve increasingly so in the years to come. Let me stop here by saying that I'm really proud that, with no merit on my side, I'm present here on this reason. I can have the only merit of telling you that Italy is there. I'm representing, and proudly so, the Italian government. I will go back to my ministry, return to my ministry this afternoon, feeling stronger than the past compared to how I left the office last night due to bureaucratic problems. Genius, determination, passion. Thanks for what you've done, but especially thank you for what you will do for the entire nation, Italian nation. Thank you. Thank you, Minister Salvini. And now we've come to a very important moment, a ritual that I've learned to love thanks to you and to cherish thanks to you. It's a ceremony in which we'll be handing the ceremonial bottle containing the very first water that touched the hull of MSC Seascape on the day of her float out. So I invite the director of the Monfalcone shipyard to join me here on stage, Mr. Cristiano Bazzara, together with the captain of MSC Seascape, Captain Leotta. Welcome. Now, we will soon have microphones brought and to us, and the bottle. Are you excited? I think we need an applause, because this is a very emotional and moving moment. Now, I know that you have ritual words to speak and to utter. Yes, I'm proud to give you this bottle. It contains the water that touched the hull of Seascape for the very first time on the day of her float out. It is a very significant moment, important for Fincantieri and well-wishing for the ship. And so I'm proud to hand it over to you. Pictures, photos. Captain, I can see that you are moved. Yes, I am. I would like to thank Fincantieri for building this gorgeous ship. In particular, I would like to thank the Aponte family for giving me the opportunity to be the captain of this ship. I'm honored for this opportunity, receiving this opportunity. I'm committed to it, and I'm very proud also to become the captain of this ship. Thank you. I simply wanted to add that we began building this ship in the summer of 2020. After 28 months of hard work, we're here delivering her to the client. As you probably can imagine, it was a very difficult period, a very complicated one. The shipyard on its own wouldn't have succeeded. We reacted as a company, a great Italian company, which is what we are. So this is why I really would like to thank for the enormous support received from our headquarters in Trieste, from the purchasing office, for the project management, all of those who supported us. Otherwise, we wouldn't have succeeded. I really would like to thank the men and women of this shipyard, directly and direct and indirect employees. I think they deserve an applause. They are an essential part of our industrial process. Thank you. We build a ship with a mantra that we shared with MSC, and the mantra was 0 defects. It was a dream. They thought we were crazy. Well, today I'm proud to say that we succeeded, Mr. Vago. We made and built this ship. We reached this result. I can guarantee that the women and men of this shipyard did their best to get as close as possible to this dream target. Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you for your very nice words. Thank you. Well, now, from one emotional movement to the next, another very important moment in the ceremony, where you can see some people that are getting up, standing up, and moving, going away. But most of you, please remain seated, because we're waiting for another important moment. So all of these moments are underlined by the presence of music. So maybe at this very moment, music will help us to get the right moment and emotion to prepare us emotionally for the next significant moment. Maestro Campagnoli, welcome, please. Let's give him a round of applause. Now I can finally remove my glasses.
Grazie. Lei, Seascape.
Lei, Seascape. Thank you, Maestro Campagnoli. Your notes really caress our hearts. Okay. We'll come to another important moment of the ceremony. I'd like to invite our soprano and tenor singers. So the great works built together. Fincantieri and MSC, two great companies looking ahead with enthusiasm, professionalism, and the certainty that together they can achieve fantastic, important results. Ladies and gentlemen, the personnel of Fincantieri and the officers of MSC Seascape. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, our tenor and soprano singers. It's beautiful seeing all of you here on stage. Very, very emotional. Your smiles. You are the throbbing heart. But let us move on with the ceremony because I know there he is. You may leave the stage. Fabio, I can see you. And we can hear you, Serena. Fabio Gatti, to you the floor. Yeah, we're here on the stage under the imposing bow of MSC Seascape. Now we have the final part of this very exciting ceremony. Yes, Fabio, we're here, we're seeing everything, we're hearing everything. Okay, now the very first important thing that we'll do is we're going to have the ceremony of the change of flag. So I invite on stage, to join me on stage, the CEO of Fincantieri, Mr. Fulgero, the founder and executive chairman of MSC, Mr. Gianluigi Aponte, and the captain of MSC Seascape, Roberto Leotta. Yes, we can give them a hand from here. A round of applause. Good afternoon. Now, this is the best part of the ceremony because we have all the colleagues and the people who actually built the ship here with us. So, my first thanks goes not only to Fincantieri in general, but to Fincantieri in particular, meaning the people, because this is where things happen. And this is where people make things happen. And that's the most difficult enterprise in the life. And this here we do also another thing that I've already explained. Well, we talk innovation, doing new things, but make them happen and make them work. We usually say in Italy, well, between saying and doing things, there's a whole sea in between. And this is what is actually happened here. So thank you for what you did. Thank you for what you will do. I also would like to thank the representatives of institutions. We've already thanked them. And also would like to thank the MSC Aponte family. Okay, we're ready for the change of flag ceremony. So please lower the Fincantieri and Italian flags.
Bene, ed ora la parola.
And now the floor goes to Mr. Aponte. Captain Leota, the honor delivering you the command of MSC Seascape. Raise the flag of Malta and the flag of MSC. Thank you. Thank you. You're still listening to us. We're waiting for your applause. And now, I'll give the floor to Mr. Aponte. Good day, one and all. I would like to thank Vice President Salvini, President Federica, parliamentarians, Mr. Prefect, Madame Cizint, Father Adaili, and Admiral Carlone for being here today. I'm very pleased to be here today because the delivery of a new ship is always a very exciting and emotional moment, apart from being an important moment. But I too would like to commemorate Mr. Giuseppe Bono, who died suddenly a few days ago. He was an exceptional person, a person who worked in the interest of Fincantieri in Italy for his entire life. His demise was a great loss, and we are very grateful for everything he did for us. Today, we are taking delivery of our new flagship, the biggest and most technologically advanced ship ever built in Italy. She is a ship which, in the years to come, will travel all over the world, and she will be an excellent ambassador of what our country is capable of doing. We are pleased to have invested and to continue investing in Italy, and a lot so, contributing in this way essentially and fundamentally to the economic growth of the country, both regionally and national. Now, before concluding, I would like to thank the national and local authorities and institutions for the important support they have always provided, and I'm sure will continue to provide. I would like to thank the Fincantieri management and all the workers who were involved and contributed to the construction of MSC Seascape. I would like to thank the technical office of MSC Cruises and the work teams in Monfalcone, Sorrento, and London. Traditionally, when we take delivery of a new ship, it is always a member of a ship owner's family to be her godmother. It is a tradition that we honor and which is extremely important for us. Today, this privilege goes to my granddaughter, Zoe. Her task is to welcome MSC Seascape and to bring her luck. Zoe, I know that you will carry out this task with great care and diligence. I would like to thank also Captain Leota, to whose expertise and abilities I entrust MSC Seascape. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Aponte. Okay, now let us move to the next part of this ceremony, that is to say, the blessing of the ship. And I would like to invite Brother Roberto Benvenuto to join me here on stage to bless the ship. I am in charge of the Pastoral Office for Work in Gorizia, and I would like to greet you on behalf of Monsignor Carlo Radelli, the Archbishop of the region, and his blessing. Now, this is a gorgeous ship, MSC Seascape, and I would like also to greet everybody on behalf of the Archbishop, or of the Archbishop. Blessing is always an important moment. Why is that so? Because we're here to ask God to bless, first of all of those who have contributed to the creation of this masterpiece. So all of these people did the best to achieve this result, and that is why God is blessing the work done by the hands of these people. Last year, I mentioned the fact that St. Francis had attached great importance to work. He said that he worked and he wanted his brothers to work because work is what makes a person whole. So all of those who are active in creating work are blessed also by St. Francis from Assisi. The blessing must also go to the captain and to the entire crew of the ship so that we can avoid black swans. And also blessing must go also to the passengers who want to enjoy their vacation on board the ship, so that also they have good weather. But then there's also another type of blessing that must come from us and go upwards towards the skies. Why? Because we must acknowledge that everything that has been done, this masterpiece of human genius, after all, what is behind it is God, because every item, every article is made by the Lord. So ambition, yes, but also humbleness. Talents, competences must be used always, of course, but humbly, because they are given to us by the Lord. And we must also acknowledge that this extraordinary ship withholds the work of the Lord. It is through the work of human genius that you can acknowledge the beauty of the Creator, who is the real artist. And in this too, St. Francis tells us something very beautiful, and this will bring me to my conclusions, and then I'll go on with the blessing. St. Francis says, let us give back to the Lord all the goods, and let us acknowledge that all goods are His. And we are thankful for all of these goods to Him, because from Him come all the goods. And that is why we bless MSC Seascape.
E del Figlio e dello Spirito Santo. Padre nostro.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Our Father, who art in heaven. And now Father Roberto will continue with the prayers in Italian.
E non abbandonarci alla tentazione, ma liberaci dal male. Dio Altissimo, Signore dell'universo, i cieli narrano la tua gloria e il firmamento annunzia le tue opere. Ricevi il nostro umile ringraziamento per le meraviglie della tua creazione. Tu che nella tua multiforme sapienza hai dato all'uomo la capacità di progettare sempre nuovi mezzi. Tu che guidi la tua Chiesa fra le tempeste del mondo, fa che quanti saliranno a bordo di questa nave MSC Seascape godano di una felice navigazione. Sii tu il nocchiero attraverso i flutti, perché lungo la rotta sperimentiamo sempre la tua protezione. e dopo una vita prospera e serena possiamo approdare alla gioia eterna per Cristo nostro Signore. Ravviva in noi, o Padre, nel segno di quest'acqua benedetta, l'adesione a Cristo, via, verità e vita, nel nome del Padre, del Figlio e dello Spirito Santo.
Ringraziamo Fra Benvenuto.
Thank you, Brother Benvenuto. And now, I'd like to invite the Godmother to join us, because together with the Godmother, we're going to call also on stage the other members of this photograph. So, I'd like to invite Executive Chairman of MSC Cruises, Mr. Vago, Minister Matteo Salvini, and Chairman of Fincantieri, Mr. Claudio Graziano. Please, together with the Godmother, join us here on stage.
Lasciamo qualche minuto ai fotografi.
Let's give the photographers another couple of minutes for these memorable photos. Okay, is that enough? Can we proceed with the ceremony? Yes. Okay, let us give an applause for our Godmother, whom I invite to join me here. Now, scissors arriving. Mr. Aponte next to his granddaughter, Godmother. Captain on the other side of the Godmother.
Al comandante. Allora, il comandante consegnerà le forbici.
Now, the captain will hand the scissors to the Godmother, and the Godmother will name the ship. So, the scissors. I name you MSC Seascape. Very well done. Serena, are you ready in the theater? Yes, we're ready. Okay, let's go with a countdown. All of us on the dock and in the theater, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Ai ai ai, che momento meraviglioso! Benvenuta a MSC Seascape!
Well done, Zoe. Welcome, MSC Seascape.
Tutti noi.
Well done, Zoe. Also on the part of all of those attending the ceremony in the theater. It's another significant moment in the history of the partnership between MSC Cruises and Fincantieri, together looking ahead to the future. Another applause for our very young Godmother, Zoe. Thank you, Fabio. Thank you, Serena. I would like to thank also the representatives of institutions and authorities. I would like to thank all of you for being here today with us. We've witnessed this very last act of this ceremony, and I've had the privilege of experiencing with you. And MSC Seascape waits you on the main entrance hall for cocktails, followed by lunch. Thank you on my behalf. Thank you, Fincantieri and MSC Cruises. Thank you, one and all. Thank you for these beautiful, emotional moments. 2 years with two very beautiful ships. Thank you, and goodbye.